Hello everyone and welcome to Sinful Gaming. I hope you're all doing well, I hope you're all staying safe, and most of all, I hope you've all had a chance to fight the war against the Grey. Today we've got another special video in our Start Collecting series, and this one is looking at the other half of the Start Collecting, or rather the Soul Wars starter set. I was asked to do these in addition to the Start Collecting box, and honestly it does make sense, so we're going to get cracking into it. The Soul Wars starter set comes with two armies, both Stormcast Eternals and Nighthaunt, and today we're going to be looking at the Nighthaunt half of that starter set. So we've got a little bit of work to do. As I mentioned with the Stormcast one, this box set does have some uneven numbers for match play requirements for unit sizes and etc. So we're going to go over how we can fix that and how we can get the army working first. So that's a little bit different than the normal Start Collecting videos, but then after that we'll go into the normal sort of thing where I look at other units and sort of explain how we can use them to expand upon the army, create a cool, thematic and great force on the tabletop. So let's get cracking first into what we actually get inside the Soul Wars box and the Nighthaunt half in particular. And you can go find on the channel, there'll be a video up for the Stormcast half of this video as well. So in the Nighthaunt half, we get a Knight of Shrouds on ethereal steed. You can see him up at the top left of the picture. He's the only one on a steed, so it's pretty easy to spot which one he is, but he's a really cool character and is effectively like a knight. He chose to betray Sigmar. He's like a Nagashi knight, and he's a really cool character. He has some cool command abilities that allow him to give extra attacks to your units, really doubling down on their power. And also has a cool little ability where if he does some wounds, he can heal back. He sort of like steals the hours as he damages his foes, which is really cool thematically, I think. Looking at other heroes, we've got things like, you can see the sort of flaming sort of staff one there. That's a Guardian of Souls Nightmare Lantern, and that is a great wizard that actually allows you to bring back models, because an important thing to know about Nighthaunt is unlike other death factions, they don't actually have gravesites. So this guy has a spell which allows you to summon back some Nighthaunt models, which is really cool. But he also gives out a bubble of adding +1 to wound for attacks made with melee weapons for Nighthaunt around him, which is really cool. +1 to wound is always welcome. We've then got other cool characters like the Lord Executioner, who is very much a combat heavy character. He's got some decapitating strike abilities which really help going against some heavier foes, allowing him to do some mortal wounds, and he's also like a little bit scary as well. Also has a nice little after death save on him as well. The last, and he of course is the character with the giant sort of hangman's noose on his back and the big axe. There's also another variation of that model. If you want more than one of them, you can go pick up, which is another fantastic sculpt. The last character we have here is the one with the chains over to the left, and that is a Spirit Torment. They're masked creatures that sort of are pitiless jailers, and they effectively trap the souls of enemies as they leave their bodies so that no one else can snatch them away from Nagash. They're particularly meant to be fighting against Stormcast Eternals, as Stormcast soul tries to go back to Azir. This thing gathers its soul and traps it so that Nagash can claim it as he's right. They've got some cool abilities. It allows you to give rerolls to hit, so you can combine him with the Guardian of Souls, and all of a sudden you're getting this cool rerolls to hit and +1 to wounds on your thing. And he's got some cool captured soul energy abilities as well. All in all, you've actually got a decent variety of characters for this Nighthaunt half of the box set. We haven't even got into units yet. What's great is like most of these characters are the ones you're going to need throughout the entire Nighthaunt army, and they're great pieces to start already owning for your Nighthaunt army. There are also some chance to work on something a little bit different, because Nighthaunt can get a little samey, but they're a really interesting sort of army to paint nonetheless. We're then going to look at the guys at the front, and these are just your Chain Rasp Horde. These are basic ghosts for your army. There's nothing too spectacular about them, there's just lots of them, and that's the idea of these ones. They're your skeleton warriors for Nighthaunt. Moving on though, and we've got 5 Glaive Stalkers up on the top right of the picture. These are the ones with sort of like the spears, and they are some hunters. So they've got some cool abilities, like that they can reroll failed hit rolls for attacks made with units glaives if they made a charge in the same turn. So they can sort of fight off and not need to be near a Spirit of Torment. So they can be like 4s rerolling and 2s, which is really cool when they charge. But there's not much to that unit really besides that. You've then got in the middle there, you've got 4 Grimghast Reapers. These guys are a fantastic unit, and like do really good against other enemy hordes. They definitely don't do that great, particularly against the models inside the other Stormcast half of the box set, but they can do a lot of damage and can be quite effective. So I did mention as well that some of these units are in odd unit sizes, and that actually is the Glaive Wraith Stalkers and the Grimghast. Now, I know the Glaive Wraith one seems weird because 5 is normally a number you associate with like unit sizes, but they actually come in units of 4, and the Grimghasts actually come in units of 5, so these two need to be flipped around. The obvious way to fix this immediately for these ones is to put one of your Glaive Wraith Stalkers on a 32mm base and swap out the spearhead for a scythe, or simply just turn that spearhead on the side, creating a scythe. And that is like a great initial fix to start this box. Now, the next problem we have though is that Grimghast Reapers come in units of 10. You buy them in lots of 10, not 5, so we need another 5 Grimghast Reapers. There's no real easy way to fix this, honestly, and so my best suggestion would either be going and looking for 5 Grimghast Reapers online, or in particular the Grimghast Reapers and the Glaive Wraith Stalkers, and adding both to, and just doing the same thing again with a Glaive Wraith Stalker, but giving you 10 Grimghasts and 8 Glaive Wraith, meaning you've got proper sized units of both. However, if you have a friend who's picked up Stormcast, perhaps maybe go in halves on the Tempest of Soul, which is the smaller box set. You can see I've got the picture just down below of the original picture here. This will give you another Lord Executioner. You don't really need that, but the big money saving in this one is getting another 10 Chain Rasp as well. Chain Rasp are actually really expensive to buy outside of the initial starter box, so this is a really good thing to go grab, especially if you've got a friend who's also getting Stormcast. You also get the Glaive Wraiths in this and the Grimghast to be able to fix up those units and do the same thing as I've mentioned before, with one Glaive Wraith, turn it into a Grimghast, and you're done. So definitely that would be my strongest suggestion, and you can probably even find this on like a buy swap sell or eBay or somewhere like that for just buying this singular half. But where do we go to next? Well, at this point you can actually go buy your endless spells, because you do have a wizard in the Guardian of Souls. So none of the Nighthaunt spells I think are auto include, but they all look really cool and there's some great abilities with them. And you can probably just go pick them up at any point you really want. You've got a wizard in the army already, so there's no reason to sort of hold off or keep them for anything else. Where I'd go next though for buying some units, especially if we're trying to look on like the cheaper side and keep this as a very friendly start collecting force, is let's save up some money for some of the big centerpieces for the army, and so maybe look into buying units of Murmur Banshees. These are a nice easy to build kit that's nice and cheap. They also have some really cool abilities where they can eat spells, and they can also gain some extra attacks when they unbind enemy spells, which is really cool and fun, and the models look fantastic. The next thing I want to suggest is a different easy to build kit, and that is the easy to build Dreadblade Harrows kit. These are fantastic leaders for your army, and some really unique abilities where they can pick up units and transport them around the battlefield. And also give out some reroll 1s to wound for attacks with the Dreadblade while they're within 9 inch of a Knight of Shrouds. So they fight really well near a Knight of Shrouds, which is really cool. They've also got like a decent amount of attacks, and you can probably like get them going pretty okay to fight other characters of similar stature. They're fantastic models as well. They just give you that little bit more cavalry edge to your army. Now, the reason why I talked about a little of the easy to build kits to start with is because there's some fantastic centerpieces for Nighthaunt, but they can be a little bit more pricey than the rest of the army we've already gathered at this point. The first one I'm going to talk about is the Black Coach, which is the biggest centerpiece you're going to get for a Nighthaunt army, and is a stunning model. And believe me, if you have got a Nighthaunt army, I don't think there's anything else you'd rather be playing with than a Black Coach. It's got some really unique abilities in that it goes up in levels of power throughout the game due to a like sort of mechanic it's got, which is really cool and fun. And it's like just a fantastic model to boot. It's got a ton of different attacks. It can actually be pretty deadly in a fight, especially once you start getting all those different level abilities on it. But more than anything, a stunning model, and I don't think any Nighthaunt army would be complete without one. And speaking incomplete without something, like if you're playing Nighthaunt, you might as well have the Mortarch that leads this force, and that is Lady Alinda, the Mortarch of Grief. This is a fantastic model, and one of the best models I think Games Workshop has released in a long, long time. I know she's a little bit old now, but she's still such a stunning model. she's got some really great command abilities and some really good sort of magic potential. She's probably one of the better magicians in your army. And there's just some sort of fun things you can do with her, and she's a great piece to lead your army. You also do have other named characters for the Nighthaunt range you can pick up, and there actually is an easy to build one called Ragnar the Grim Halo that could be a nice cheaper alternative if you're looking for that great sort of named character centerpiece. You've also got the options of reviving Kurdos Valentian, the Craven King, who is a stunning model as well. And I'd highly recommend eventually picking up all the various Nighthaunt special characters. They're all just simply stunning models and will be a joy to paint. But that's it from me. Let me know what you think about this Star Collecting half, I guess, or half of Soul Wars in the comments down below. Let me know your thoughts on what you've done to sort of make the army work as a base for your force. Also, if you've got any more questions, leave them in the comments down below as well. But most of all, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you everyone who supported us so far. I can't believe we've hit over 1,000 subscribers now. It's amazing. And also, if you would like to join in the chat with me and other members of the community in our Discord, there'll be a link to that down in the description below as well. But most of all, guys, stay safe, stay well, and keep fighting that war against the Grey. I'll see you all again real soon.